Hey everyone. Typically, in the first day of class, you'd be walking into the classroom, and day one would be spent going over the syllabus and going over some of the policies associated with the school and with the class. I don't want to take that away. Even though our class is online, I do think it's important to review some of the rules associated with this class in case some of you don't know. So here's a little tutorial. And I'll try to keep this as short as possible. So first of all, welcome to our fall semester. Notice how at the top I have two sections of English 104 listed because I am teaching two sections. Please make sure to check which section you're enrolled in. And of course, there's a corresponding Canvas page that goes with that section. My name is Hasmik. Last name Barsamian. Feel free to call me Miss B. Feel free to call me Jasmine, whatever you prefer. Here's my email address for you guys. And then, of course, I have some funky office hours this semester. It's going to be through the chat room on Canvas. So I did show you this in my welcome tutorial to the class website. But notice how on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 1:30, my chat will be wide open. And all you have to do is come online, ask me a question. I'll be happy to respond. So I'm not going to read all this description of the course and then the exit standards. I feel like, I trust you enough to know that you will read it on your own. But I do think it's important for you to know what these standards are because by the end of the semester, our class is supposed to be meeting those standards. Now, for this class, you have two required texts. One of them is, I don't have it with me, but it's called Everything's an Argument. It's the 8th edition. It's the one without readings. So it's a small little book. The one with readings, that's just extra. You don't need that because we're not going to use the readings. And the second one is 1984. Look how old mine is. It's already in a really bad condition. I have this Signet Classic. That's like the main publisher. And I know they have like really cool ones with nice covers. In fact, I was looking online and you could get the Kindle edition for like $1. I could be wrong about that. But there's so many. For some of you, you could even probably find it free just because it's so widely circulated. Now, for an online class, the attendance policy is a little different. Now, I know it's been a while since face-to-face classes, but do you remember in a face-to-face class at GCC, you would have to come to class day 1 and day 2 to keep your seat in the course. The online classes are a little bit different. So with online classes, how are you supposed to say, here, like, don't drop me, I'm here, I'm present? Well, what you do is you have to complete a check-in assignment. So every single online instructor creates their own check-in assignment. And whatever that check-in ends up being, the student has to complete it by the end of the first week. So if you notice right here, I wrote that our check-in assignment is due on Sunday, September 6th. And it has to be like submitted by that time if you want to keep your seat in this class. So I do also have some of the wording that's directly from our catalog and from our course page. So if you want to click there and find out more about the attendance policy, by all means do that. Now, here's another little interesting fact to know. In an online course, you cannot miss more than 2 weeks worth of assignments. Now, what does that mean? Like, it's not like we take roll in an online class. You can log in when you want, and some people are coming online at midnight. Some people are coming online at 8 a.m. So how this translates is in the form of missing assignments. So missing assignments, I created the number 10 because for me, that ends up being approximately 2 weeks worth of assignments. So 10 assignments would be, if each assignment, I give it a point value. Let's say we take a quiz, which happens to be 5 points. You miss it, that's one missing assignment. But if another assignment happens to be 10 points, that counts as 2 missing assignments. So for me, I divided it in terms of points. So it's 5 points at a time. All right, so basically it's like, you miss 50 points, then you get a warning, and then of course, you probably will fail the class. But of course, there's different reasons for why people miss. So I do recommend that you speak to me. I'm just moving myself around just to be easily accessible. I recommend that you speak to me. Let me know what the problem is. Let me know if you have something personal going on. Just lately, our health and well-being is extremely important, not just for ourselves, but for our loved ones. So if you are having some kind of a personal issue, you should speak to me sooner rather than later. Now, a few dates that are important. There's a census date. Now, this date is important for people who wish to drop the class. This date is important for people who added the class late. So they added the class after the check-in assignment was due. So let's say, you didn't complete the check-in assignment, which was due September 6th. And then that following Monday, September 7th, I added some people who were on the wait list. So those people now have until September 14 to complete the check-in assignment. So that way, everybody gets a fair shot at doing the check-in, and then of course keeping their seat in the class. It doesn't matter if you were enrolled before or if you are enrolled like during the first week or after the first week, you still have to complete the check-in assignment. And then of course, you want to drop the class and you want to get your full refund. Please make note of this date right here. If you want to drop the class, maybe closer to the end of the semester, you notice that there's just way too much to do, you don't have enough time, whatever the case may be, this is the date that you want to put in your calendar, November 21st. And then of course, if you do want to petition for this class to be counted as pass, no pass instead of a grade, you should definitely talk to a counselor first, but otherwise just know that November 21st is also the date for that. All right, so what else do you need to know? Well, there's a plagiarism policy you should definitely know. I wish I had less issues with plagiarism than I actually do. I used to get really offended, but now I handle it really well. But please just click here and learn more about the code of conduct that's expected of students at GCC. Also, students with learning disabilities, please know that GCC does have a disabilities office, and then there are certain accommodations that can be made for students who do have learning disabilities, such as extra exam time. A lot of students don't even know that that's available, but it is. You just have to register through that office. So if you do want to learn more about it, click here. Check out, maybe you want to call them, ask them specific questions. And then my policy on late work, that's important as well. My policy on late work is I don't accept late work. And here's why. It's not because I'm being mean. I don't accept late work because when I open up the week's assignments, I give you a full 7 days to complete it, at least. For essay assignments, I give you a few weeks. For like in-class assignments, like a response or a discussion, I give you an entire week to complete it. So I've already considered, students who procrastinate and have jobs and have multiple classes and all these other variety of roadblocks that kind of prevent students from completing their assignments on time. So a full week, I think, is a good amount of time to complete whatever is set for that particular week. And I only open a week at a time. So Sunday morning, I open up the following week's work. So if you really think about it, from Sunday morning, you can already work on next week's work. But, I wouldn't recommend it. I would enjoy my Sunday. But still, just so you know. So that's why late work, when it comes to our in-class assignments, I don't accept. But when it does come to exams and essays, I ask that you contact me, because those are major percentages, especially essays are major. You should really talk to me, if you know that you're going to miss an assignment. All right, one last thing that I do want to mention is Canvas does have tech support. I myself have used it multiple times. They are very helpful, and then they give you like a follow-up email afterwards. It's great. Again, they've answered so many of my questions. As an instructor, when I was learning to use Canvas for the first time, I actually called them a few times just to ask, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? The student added late. They're not in the discussion. How do I get them in the discussion? Things like that. So sometimes if, you don't see yourself, or you don't know how to use one of the features that's on Canvas, just call them. They're open 24/7, that they're working. All right, so here is the very, very rough schedule that I created. Now, it's by law that I have to create a schedule for you guys, but it's impossible for me to list everything that I'm going to be assigning. So what I decided to do is just list the due dates, and also list the important dates where we don't have school, and then also list our readings. So that's what this page is for. But honestly, do you really need this page? Not really. I mean, you could mark your calendar as far as like the major assignments go. But I will be sending out announcements every week. So my announcements will say something like what to do for week number 1, what to do for week number 2. And then I will list everything that I would like you to do, with links and with page numbers and all of it. I'm a very organized person, and I want to create very organized lesson plans and agendas. So that's what I did for you. That's what I created for you. And if you continue scrolling to the rest of our syllabus, there's some useful handouts that you might find helpful when you're writing your essays. Some people don't know the difference between paraphrasing and quoting. Well, here's a little guideline for you. Some people struggle with integrating their quotations, and here's a little handout for you. These are all lead-in phrases that you can potentially use for your quotations. A lot of people struggle with analysis. Like, you found a really good quote, but you don't know what to say about it. Well, here's a page that can help you out. These are all suggestions on how you can analyze your evidence. And then overall, a lot of people, and I noticed this more and more, maybe because I'm teaching online, a lot of people struggle with using evidence in a smooth way, as in integrating evidence into their writing. And this is really a helpful handout. This is probably one of the most helpful ones that I have in here, that tells you there's different ways that you can integrate your evidence. And then finally, here are some comment codes that I use for grammar. Like if I use the code SP, just know that that's a spelling mistake, and so on and so forth. And that's our syllabus, you guys. I would recommend that you print this out and you have it in your English folder, and that way you can access the handouts and you can access the schedule as we go along. So that is my quick tutorial of our class syllabus.